Establishment of progression in any strata will come with effective measurement in performance. To get measurements right, a reliable system needs to be on ground. In recent times, the education system in Nigeria has been under scrutiny, with debates over drop-in standards. But this argument can only hold ground if the right measurement of progression is brought to the fore. On the spot this week, we speak with one of the examination bodies testing performance level of Nigerian students as they aim to progress through the higher institutions. I am Joseph Otam. Welcome to the program. My guest is an academic and administrator. He holds bachelor's and master's degrees in science education, as well as a PhD in science education with bias in chemistry from Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. He has lectured in many Nigerian universities, including Usman Danfodio University, Federal University of Technology, and Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida University. My guest is also a member of some professional bodies, including obtaining fellowships of African Academics Network and Institute of Management Consultants. On the spot is the Registrar and Chief Executive, National Examinations Council, Neco, Professor Dantani Ibrahim Wushishi. Nice to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Okay, Neco, it came to be. There was this advocacy that Nigeria should have a national examination body, and it came to be. But when it came out, a lot of people, even universities I knew that time, didn't want to admit students who had Neco results at that time. And over the years, it's like if it's now people are beginning to accept it. But it seems they're still dragging our feet. Is that right?
I don't think so, and I might think so.
Okay.
In the first instance, the National Examinations Council came into being as a result of agitations which began as early as 1977. And before the birth of the National Examination Council, there were about 4 national panels that have been set up to look into the problem that has to do with some constraints that has to do with conduct of examinations at that level at that particular time. So these commissions at different periods were set by government, and panels too were set up to look into the situation. Which culminated into the National Council on Education in its 46th meeting at Abuja, Ogun State, approved the establishment of the National Examinations Body as the first, as an indigenous national examination body that is to assess students at both primary school level by conducting the National Common Entrance Examination, at junior secondary school level by conducting the Basic Education Certificate Examination, and at the senior secondary school level conducting Senior Secondary Certificate Examination, and that is school-based nationally. Also, for those that will have failed this examination or that have not met of the requirement for credit level to gain admission into tertiary institution, there is the Senior Certificate Examination external, which is private, for remediation of, of results. So this we have been carrying out, by the council. So, and when you look at performance over the years, you find that candidates that sat for these examinations have been doing well from inception, from the year 2000. Well, Nigerians have been wary about the coming of the National Examination Council at that time. So, and there were a lot of difficulties. But the pioneers, pioneer registrars of the council put up far-reaching measures to allay the fears of Nigerians over the establishment and the ability of the body to conduct examinations for Nigerians. So it instituted things like monitoring of the examinations by professionals in the education sector and also stakeholders that has to do with education. So over time, you find that that wariness by Nigerians about the acceptability of Neco examination continued to fade over time. And as it is now, the National Examination Council does not only conduct examinations for only Nigerians, but Nigerians in diaspora and other nationals in about 6 African countries. And we use results from the National Examinations Council conducted examinations.
These exams you're talking about, are they acceptable in those countries?
They are acceptable in those countries. In fact, we used to receive a request for confirmation of results from Europe and America. Last year alone, we received over 400 requests from tertiary institutions across 50 countries of the world for Neco to confirm the authenticity of that result for admission. So across the world, the results from the National Examinations Council have been accepted. And that is why we felt we also have to move with time, because we have clients across the globe. We don't have to rely on manual verification of results. And that was why recently we launched the Neco E-Verify platform, that you can verify Neco results anywhere across the world. And from inception in 2000 that we started the conduct of the examination, we have conducted so far up to this year examinations for more than 32 million Nigerians. More than 32 million Nigerians. Some of them are professors, some of them are engineers, some of them are in the security sectors, some of them are in various fields of endeavor across the world. So as far as Neco results is concerned, in terms of measurement of performance, we have been doing well, and Nigerian children have been doing their best, though there have been room for improvement because of several factors that has to do with economy, that has to do with the polity, that has to be with social issues.
Okay, we'll talk more about the room for improvement and some of the innovations that you have brought up. But there are people who have argued that there is a step down. Someone who couldn't make up in a particular examination will come and then will not make it in Neco. It's as if Neco has a way of stepping it down a little bit for a kind of a let my people go kind of a thing. Do you subscribe to that?
I don't think so. As somebody that is conversant with examinations even before coming to the National Examinations Council, I've been an examination officer at the secondary school level. When I taught at the Nigerian Navy Secondary School at Papa, I have been also an examination officer when I was a lecturer in the Usman Danfodio University. I have been also an examination officer in Federal University of Technology, Mina. When I went on sabbatical, I was the head of department, the chief examination officer in the science education department in IBB University. So I don't think that is so, because over the years I have been in contact with examination questions of NECO and WAEC, and we do carry out research comparing the standards of performance of Neco examinations and other examinations bodies. And one of the longest or oldest examination body in Nigeria, in fact, our examinations, we could beat our chest to say is better. There have been research results showing that Neco examination is of standard across the world. You can compare it with any other examination across the world at that particular level we are doing our exam, because we make sure that we follow procedures of setting up questions. We have those that are responsible for generating items. They generate items. We have psychometric departments that determine the psychometric properties of every item of the questions we are going to set. We put up table of specification to determine item difficulty of each and every item on the basis of the level of the candidate, because we do that on the basis of the curriculum and the syllabus at that particular level for such subjects. So, and by the time you do that, you determine the validity and the reliability of each of the items by the standard of that. And there are regulations and procedures to do that. As soon as a learner, you set questions within 6 intellectual level of knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation or innovation. These are the 6 intellectual levels. So, depending on the level of the learner, you determine the level at which the learner operates. So you set your questions on the basis of this level. So, and by the time you do that, you draw table of specifications, you determine psychometric property of the questions. Once it satisfies the required index, you are good to go anywhere. So, and that's why questions that are set up by examination bodies such as Neco, those questions are referred to as standardized items, which can be administered anywhere across the world, insofar that the learner is at the level that is to take that particular question. And before we even set our questions, we have what we call trial testing. After generating the items, we trial test the items in nearly all the subjects that we examine students. We examine students in about 76 different subjects. So we generate items in about maybe 30 subjects in different papers. Then across the regions, we trial test them, bring them back, then mark them, then determine the psychometric properties. By the time we do that, we determine the psychometric properties. Those that were to drop, that have not met up the specification, we drop them. Then you could ask the question of, if you bank, how do you now ensure the safety of those questions that you bank? The procedure is, when you have a question, it is not only the particular question that you generate and continue to work with. No, you generate 3 sets, 4 or 5 sets of questions at the same level. You do all that is required as far as determining psychometric properties are concerned on those questions. And by the time they have satisfied the standard, those that have to be dropped have been dropped, and the number of questions that are required are attained, then they are so sealed, set by set, and brought to the office of the registrar. Once it is time for going to print, then the registrar will now select out of the sets, which nobody will know the sets. Even himself, the registrar, will not know the set until at the time he's going to select it with those that are responsible for that selection, we do the selection in their place. Then we hand it over to the director that would now go for printing.
Okay, that's so much on what you have been doing to standardize it.
Yes.
But we have people who are out there trying to beat the system. But we'll discuss much about that when we'll go for this short break and return.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, stay with us as we go for the short break. We'll be back soon. Now, welcome back to On the Spot with Registrar and Chief Executive, National Examinations Council, Neco, Professor Dantani Ibrahim Wushishi. We know that we have wizards out there who are always, they're not resting, putting measures every day to make sure they beat the guns. You heard of what happened with JAM recently. Now, exam malpractice has been an issue. What are those mechanisms you have in to check that?
First, we need to also understand that on a normal basis, we have examination malpractice before the examination. We have examination malpractice during examination. We have examination malpractice after the examination. Now, examination malpractice before the examinations, we try as much as possible to curtail this through strict adherence to procedures for generation of items, from generation of items to the final level of standardization of the item, where it is sealed and taken to the registrar's office. So, you generate items, there are procedures for generations, there are procedures for handling them, testing the psychometric properties, and for all you do this without the knowledge of the fact that which of the item or which of the question in any of the subject or papers that would feature in a particular examination. So as much as possible, we enforce strict compliance to procedures. And once it has, anything that you are working on has left your place, it has left your place.
There are people who say that much of this starts even within the house itself.
That is what I'm saying. It's because we adhere strictly to procedure. Nobody among those that handles the generation of items up to the last point that we know which item would feature in any of the examination. For supervisors, monitoring officers, some, depending on the gravity of the offense, we blacklist you or we take you up with your mother ministry from the states where you are located, and those that suggested your name to be part of our supervisory team.
Okay, let me just take you on this. We have, these days, this malpractice is hugely involved. Even schools are involved, parents are involved.
Yes.
We have situations whereby in some certain schools, something is already prepared for whoever is coming to monitor or supervise. Something is prepared for them. In short, in some schools, you hear things like malpractice fee that students have to pay. These things are prepared for whoever is coming in already. And so, have you had experiences of that regarding your own personnel involved in things like this?
Yeah, there are cases where you see we heard of that. So, you know, there are hotspots for such things. Those things filter, and we get reports that some of these things are happening in so-so school and so-so school. Apart from our monitoring officers, we have security personnel, plain security personnel that are also equally involved in monitoring. So you will not know them. So our eyes are on these flash spots of malpractice. So sometimes when schools or a teacher is caught, entirely that school is blacklisted and that teacher will be punished. We blacklist the school for either 2 years, 3 years or so from taking any of our examination. So we have cases like that. And we have cases whereby these are not even detected during the examination, but are detected during marking of the scripts. So by the time we detect during marking scripts, mass cheating, we sometimes even cancel the examination of that particular school and blacklist the school. Stop the school from taking our examinations maybe for 2 years or 3, depending on the gravity of what we have, evidences we have before us. So we have cases like that. And since I came, when we strictly follow this prescription of punishment for those that we caught, the issue of malpractice continued to go down. And you see, you don't just punish, for example, or just sit back to say when you caught, you punish. You need also to sensitize the public on the ills of examination malpractice, not only to individual candidates, but the entire nation. The entire nation. So that was why last year, in conjunction with the National Assembly, we organized a workshop for stakeholders on examination, the ills of examination malpractice. We covered 3 regions: Southwest, South-South, and North Central. So we continue to sensitize people, even if you listen very carefully, even during the last conducted examination of 2023, we sponsored jingles throughout the period of the examination, talking about the ills of examination malpractice and what it does to our nation.
Okay, we don't have much time, but I just want you to touch on this in a few seconds. These gifted examinations, where children who are with high intellect are kind of to progress to secondary school, given the kind of a test at secondary school level. Is it not asking too much for these young ones, not just to allow them to just go through their stages?
You see,
give us an insight on what it's all about.
You see, in psychology, there is what is called personality traits. Personality traits. And you find that among learners, they are also in categories. You have those that are slow learners, those that are average learners, that those that can learn very fast and easily understand what you taught them. So, these high-stake children, you don't tie them down. They are gifts to the family and the nation. So by the time you start to explore them at the early stage, from among them you can have genius emerging. So that was why I think in the 1990s, the Suleja Academy was introduced as a school for the gifted and talented children. So you need to identify this category of children from different parts of the country, converge them together, you understand, to learn. So because they are high-stake children, okay. So and they are assets to the nation, and that was why it is part of our act to conduct examinations for this category of people, students. And Neco has not.
Okay, I think we're running out of time. So
okay, thank you.
It's a topic that you have to feature on its own self so that we can have much about it. Thank you so much, Registrar, Chief Executive, National Examinations Council, Neco, for being on the spot.
Thank you.
And to you out there, thank you again for always being with us. I'll see you next time on the next episode.